UCLA believes they're going to get $60 to $70 million a year in TV money from the Big Ten. But after this deal was reached, the UC Board of Regents essentially said, hey, you're going to pay Cal Berkeley between $2 and $10 million a year based on what they get in a new Pac-12 TV deal. That seems like an awfully steep toll to pay if you are UCLA when you have at least a 10 million to 90 million, depending on who you believe, financial deficit to overcome at UCLA. Are you surprised, Jake, that UCLA is going to have to give up that kind of bread?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was always going to be part of their situation, if you will, that they were going to have to help out Berkeley. But I think that, I think that there's too much benefit in going to the Big Ten not to do it. Like, I think you're in 9 figures of debt at UCLA. Like, you don't really have too much of a choice. Like, you need to go somewhere and you need to start making as much money every single year as you can possibly make. And I think that to me is the strategy. Hey, like, all right, like, let's say that they're still running at a deficit. Well, maybe that deficit is $1 instead of $5, right? And that allows them to be in a more improved position, even if that position is brutal, So, like, to me, I think that the thing that no one's talking about is the money that you could potentially get from, college football playoff berths and the top end of college football. If you can get there now that you're in the Big Ten and now that you're going to be the team that plays in the primetime slot a lot at night, right? Because we've talked all about how, Big Ten After Dark, and they're going to be doing the primetime slot thing. And to me, if I'm UCLA, I need to be a part of that. I need to be in a position where I'm making as much money. UCLA,
it's UCLA,
right? Like,
not UCLA.
UCLA, right? DTR, Charbonnet, right? All these guys that have been there for decades now, it seems like, like this team and this university, like, they need to make as much money as fast as possible. And to me, you never want to be in that position in life, but that's where they're at. And so I just don't think it's too heavy of a price to pay to help Berkeley. Like, I kind of feel like they knew all along that this was going to be asked.
Oh, yeah. They knew that they were going to have to kick down to Cal. I mean, I think they knew that. I think you're looking at money. We're talking about, I think it's at least $70 million net for UCLA in this move. I mean, it raises everything from recruiting, football, basketball. It certainly helps you generate more revenue down the line as far as the sports totem pole goes. I think it certainly helps you in corporate sponsorships. You're going to be on bigger TV platforms. You're going to be playing in bigger games of consequence. I think this puts a lot more microscope on Chip Kelly, which is probably a good thing if you're a Bruins fan. But for the Pac-12, I think this is D-Day, because this move now tells you have one more season with Los Angeles in your TV deal. And then you really have to start wondering, what does the Pac-12 do to save themselves? Because I think that's what it is now. The Pac-12 is in survival mode. And if you want to live, I think you have got to, at a very minimum, get Gonzaga and San Diego State into your conference. And I think you have to do everything possible to do that. And I think what happens now is what we've talked about for over a month now. ESPN and Amazon are now in the catbird seat because they know that the Pac-12 no longer has Los Angeles, and you have a real clear look at who that conference is and what their value is. Again, I was told that it's $20 to $25 million per school per season max. That's what ESPN and Amazon essentially are bouncing back to the Pac-12. And I think if you are George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12, I think you're going back to Amazon today trying to get every penny that you can.
Yeah.
Because now it feels like you have to make a deal. And, for everybody that was ripping the Big 12 TV deal, here's the question I'd ask for you. Who's in a better position today? I don't think there's any doubt the Big 12 is in a far better position now than the Pac-12 is. And if you're the Pac-12, wouldn't you love to have the TV deal that the Big 12 got? I absolutely think you would. And we can sit here and we can spin ands and ifs and buts, but the reality is, if you're the Pac-12, you are looking at a financial disaster. If you wind up at anything less than $30 million a school, you're looking at a financial disaster, in my opinion. And I just don't see how you're going to be able to convince a brand like Gonzaga basketball to join your conference at $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And by the way, wouldn't they be getting less because that's a non-football property?
Yep.
So if you go to Gonzaga and you say, hey, join as a basketball only or join all of your sports, we'll pay you $15 million. We'll pay you $20 million. That doesn't seem like a winning proposition for Gonzaga, who has, from all understanding, a free ticket to join the Big 12 as a 75% shareholder.
Well, that's why I say they're, in a sense, they're kind of a free agent if you think about it. Like, yeah, you know, they're obviously in a conference, but like to me, as far as P5s and like what their next move is, they can go wherever they want to go. Everybody wants them, and in that sense, you're basically operating like a free agent. And yeah, I think your point about them being basketball only, now obviously they have other sports, but as far as football and basketball are concerned, you're basketball only at Gonzaga. Like your whole mission is not to be nice to the Pac-12, but instead to make as much money as you can. And again, this is why we've been saying for how many weeks now, dude? How many weeks? This conversation's about money and paying the bills, not, hey, we're the best, we're the conference of champions, like we're great at badminton.
Well, and don't forget who would love to have Gonzaga in the Big 12. Well, that'd be Fox Sports, because what does Fox have? Fox has the overwhelming majority of the Big 12 basketball inventory now.
Facts.
And if you're Fox, you have a lot of leverage over Big 12 basketball, which means you have a lot of leverage over Gonzaga and trying to push Gonzaga into the conference, because you can't tell me if you're Fox and you're able to get Kansas Gonzaga twice a year, every single year of your contract, yeah, that you're not going to have a huge TV audience for that for two almost always top 5 ranked college basketball programs.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Fox isn't willing to pony up more money to get Gonzaga basketball into the Big 12.
Yes.
All of the stars aligned. And we've been, again, I know we've been saying this, and really this UCLA decision yesterday didn't change anything, but it just crystallizes now the real dire straits that the Pac-12 finds themselves in. And I do believe that the Pac-12 is in dire straits. I'm not the guy that sees sunshine and everything, especially when it's all clouds, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see how the Pac-12 survives this.
Well, and
I
I don't
really
think
don't.
The Pac-12 is going to come out and say, yeah, we're in dire straits. Like, you need to understand that. Like, the Pac-12 has never been, and really now we need to say the Pac-10 has never really been a conference that is like, yeah, we're going to be honest and real about everything. And I've always maintained that I feel like if you were honest and open and just real about everything, I almost feel like people would relate to you and they would want to help you. I'm not saying that, you know, the Pac or the Big 10 or the Big 12 or whatever, the SEC is going to reach out and say, here's a bunch of money. But I do think that when it comes down to, you know, working together to build a total package in college football, people would be willing to help you in whatever way they can. Because the truth is that if the Pac-10 was a prolific conference, if they were a conference that really was a threat every single year.
So now, wait, are we going Pac-10 now?
Yeah, it's Pac-10 now.
It's Pac-10 now.
Yeah,
okay.
it's over. It's
All
the
right.
Pac-10.
Correct me every time I say Pac-12.
Because I'm going to say the Pac-12 a bunch too. You know what I mean? And it's an adjustment, you know? And again, that's something you got to get used to too as a fan and a consumer. College football realignment and really college athletic realignment is going to continue to happen, and it's going to happen swiftly.
Absolutely.
So, like, to me, it's like we have to start to get used to this now, almost in the way that we're used to it at the pro level with players and all these massive baseball contracts and like all these big changes that happen at the pro level in sports. Like, we got to get used to this in college athletics now, and specifically in football and basketball. And to me, you know, this should make you appreciate people like Kevin Warren and Brett Yormark. Like, these two guys are really trendsetters. They're blazing things. Like, they're pushing forward. This $70 million a year per school nonsense that the Big Ten has somehow accomplished is truly incredible. And it puts the Pac-10 in a really bad position.
Well, and I also think what it does is it really pushes Big Ten schools to $100 million a year in revenue. And when you're all said and done,
which is unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, most Big Ten schools are going to have an opportunity to make $100 million a year. Dude, seriously, dilly. When you're talking about the ability to recruit, the ability now, because we know that the NIL negotiations that are happening, we hear every day, it seems like a news story where, hey, if you come play football at my school, we'll pay you $1 million a year and we'll do X, Y, and Z. You'll have a new Cadillac to drive. you're going to have Nike swag. You'll get every one of the latest Air Jordan releases. Like these are negotiations now. If you're making $100 million in the Big Ten and you are, think about 5-star recruits are one thing, right? Like everybody battles over 5 stars, but 3 and 4 stars are the ones that win you national championships.
Yep.
If you're talking to a 3-star offensive lineman, if you're talking to a 3-star wide receiver, right? If you're Deion Sanders and you're making $20 million a year in your TV deal, and let's say that because Prime's there, let's say that Prime is worth $10 million more a year and the TV deal is $20 million, you're at $30 million at Colorado.
Yeah.
And you're recruiting against, pick a mid-table, Big Ten team. Let's say you're recruiting against Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan State can offer that kid $1 million a year, every Jordan, a car deal, a luxury condo. Deion Sanders ain't worth that much money when you're offering a kid $1 million, J's, a condo, and a car. Because that's the reality of college football recruiting now. The transfer portal and NIL has changed the way that kids do business in picking schools. And I think that's the biggest problem. If you're a Pac-10 school, that's the biggest problem now. You don't have, that kind of leverage, that kind of ammunition to go after these kids who really do care about uniforms, who care about shoes, cars, condos, and of course the almighty dollar. Colorado can't compete financially with, and it's crazy to say this out loud, they can't compete financially with an Illinois and Indiana, Purdue. You can't do that. Look at basketball. If you're the Big Ten and you're the Big 12, and let's say that you're UCLA, or let's say Arizona, who's supposedly the best program in the Pac-10, right? That's the basketball standard in the Pac-10 is Arizona. Arizona now can legally pay players, but they can't compete with Big 12 or Big 10. If you're a kid that's choosing between Gonzaga Gonzaga and Arizona.
Gonzaga.
Tell me again that you're going to take Arizona and that $100,000, whereas Gonzaga joining the Big 12 can now offer, hey, we can pay you $500,000 and we're going to give you a luxury condo.
It's a lot of bread, dude.
It's a big difference.
A lot of money to a kid.
And by the way, let's also not forget, any day, and I'm not saying they're gonna, but if the Big 12 ever decides to release their football schedule, and I'm not saying they're gonna, because that was supposed to happen Monday, and now some people believe it's going to happen today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Look at the matchups on that Big 12 football schedule, because they're going to be mighty. You're adding these 4 new teams, and now next year you're getting Oklahoma and Texas, it looks like, to the SEC, SC and UCLA to the Big 10, nobody probably to the Pac-10. We'll see. Look at the way the landscape's going to change when this Big 12 schedule comes out.
Yeah, and I just think that obviously, like, I think people are starting to understand, but you can just see the domino effect that happens here. You can see how, like, with everything you just explained with NIL and the flow of money, and then, you look at scheduling, and then that scheduling affects TV money.
Yeah.
And, it's just a vicious cycle that goes downhill really fast. And I don't understand why we had to get here with the Pac-12, 10, how many ever schools, right? Like, I don't understand why it had to be this way. Why couldn't the PAC find someone who knew how to operate, bro?
I don't know,
Why do we have to sit here and be like, yeah, the Seattle market is probably going to be a Big Ten property in the next 5 years. LA is a Big Ten property. Like, you know what I mean?
But I'm glad you brought that up because, we were talking about, Oregon. Yesterday we talked about what happens if UCLA stays in the Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about TV audiences, markets. All of the YouTube comments yesterday were, well, Los Angeles is a much bigger TV market. But does it matter if the tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it? Because more people, and do you guys realize that the more than respectable TV viewership that Washington State has? Do you guys understand the mega numbers that come out of Oregon, Seattle?
Yeah. Oregon
draws eyes. The Huskies who play in Seattle draw eyes.
I didn't think Gonzaga's so valuable.
Yeah, in Spokane. You have to understand that, yeah, it's cool that UCLA and USC are in Los Angeles, the second largest market in the country. But I got news for you, dude. The bigger story is how many people actually watch the game on TV. You're going to get 1 million viewers. You send them to the New Mexico Bowl, and BYU fans will travel.
I'm for real.
Somehow to the New Mexico Bowl, right? So it doesn't matter as much of your TV market as it matters how many people watch your games. And that, to me, is what is the win for Washington, Oregon. You know, you look at, again, Little Pullman, Washington, where Washington State is, they have a really solid TV number.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Well, and I think that you have to take, like, a lot of people, like, you know, YouTube commenters or, like, and I'm not talking about the chat on the show. I'm talking about, like, people who watch the show throughout the day and comment on our channel. Like, a lot of people, you know, don't take their opinion out of the numbers. Like, I get it. If you're an LA person and we're sitting here talking about Seattle and Pullman and, you know, all these different, you know, Spokane, like all these different Pacific Northwest markets, you're like, dude, this is LA. Like, what are you guys talking about? And it's like, yeah, I'm with you. LA has millions upon millions of people, but who gives a damn if they're too busy eating dinner and not watching the game?
Who gives a damn if they're out getting sushi and waiting for the Golden Globe nominations to be announced?
Yeah.
Because they're not watching football. I got news for you. The reason that the NFL left LA for all those years was because people weren't going to games. People weren't watching games. The reason the NFL is back is because they had a money-making opportunity in Los Angeles. That's why they're back. It's not like, by the way, that the Rams draw the biggest TV water in the NFL, because they do not. But the issue is it gives them Los Angeles, right? In pro sports, it matters. Nobody goes to UCLA football games. How many times did we show pictures of the Rose Bowl this year where it was empty, embarrassingly empty, right? Like there's just apathy because you have the beach. You have Hollywood.
And you have this little school called USC.
Dude.
Bro.
In my mind, if you said to me who's got a bigger TV audience, I would tell you Washington, Oregon, the Pacific Northwest is more attractive to me than Los Angeles for college sports. It is. Now, if you want to talk NBA, you want to talk the NFL, okay, we can have an argument about that. Because the Rams were selling out the Coliseum when they were playing there. SoFi is one of the most beautiful football stadiums in the entire country, right? So we can sit here and we can have these conversations, but I'm telling you right now, the heart of this issue is who actually flips on the TV on Saturdays. And it's far more in the Pacific Northwest than it is in Los Angeles.
And if Amazon buys the PAC, will people watch on their phone in that same respect?
Well, I mean, that to me, that's an interesting.
Like, if you think about it, if nobody's watching, like if there's not a real hunger for, if there wasn't a real hunger for SC and UCLA, let's say, right? Like SC has good TV numbers, but like if there wasn't a real hunger for the sport before you lost the LA market, you really tell me that if you were to add, let's just say San Diego State, that all of a sudden Amazon would be printing money out of San Diego? Like, see, I struggle with that.
I struggle with that too. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Like when you have, and I'm not even joking, I'm not even being tongue in cheek. When you have places like La Jolla where you can go and sit at the beach and watch the sunset, you really tell me people are going to watch San Diego State and somebody rather than going and like seeing that stuff? Like, that's not how California works. And if you've never been, you should go because it's beautiful. Like,
it is.
Like, and so that's why I say, why do you think TV numbers in winter markets are so good? Because people don't like cold weather, so they sit inside, drink their hot chocolate, and watch dudes smash their faces together. Like, that's what we do as people. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't hard to understand. This, like, the only thing for me that's hard to understand is why, Utah and Mark Harlan and these ADs are so damn committed to the PAC. What has the PAC done for you? How has the PAC helped you? How is George Kliavkoff?
I think part of the argument is, are we a money-making institution, or are we an academic institution? Because the UC Board of Regents is the perfect example of this as we talk about UCLA getting a free ride from the UC Board of Regents essentially to go to the Big Ten. That is done now, but there's a lot of politicians on that UC Board of Regents who don't watch football and don't care about athletics. They're trying to buy into, they're trying to buy into this belief system that you have. Hey, like it's gonna, which I don't believe, but you have people on that board that believe it's bad for mental health to travel as much as college athletes travel. That's not a UCLA to the Big Ten issue, friends. That is there's a lot more at play than that there. But I don't know. Listen, I think it'll be interesting to see exactly how all of this plays out.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how all of this goes. But the bottom line to me is that when I look at the TV numbers and I see that games like UCLA and Cal, draw 3.7 million, in week 13, but you're getting 453,000 out of Stanford. Stanford's a perfect example. Like, nobody's watching Stanford football games.
Why would they?
Nobody is but it's something that I think people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and I think your point about like these guys not really caring about athletics is well taken because again, it kind of gives you a lot of insight and perspective into who's running these schools. If you think about it, like these are people who really are not sports fans. They don't care. They're just raking in the bread, and going about their life. And so for them, it's like, who cares? All right, great. Go to the Big Ten. Like, why do I give a damn? Like it's that kind of sentiment that kind of gets you in trouble long term. And to me, I hope that Mark Harlan's not one of those guys. I hope he's not. But somehow, some way, I'm going to go ahead and say that he is, because when you tweet something like that and you say we're never leaving and we're here to stay and this is our conference, like it tells me you just don't get it. You don't understand. And I can even get down with, hey, we're an academic school first, where football is 18th, like great. I get that. But when it comes down to your P&L statement at the end of the fiscal year, maybe football shouldn't be fifth. Maybe it should be first, and maybe you should make better decisions. Like, that's what I struggle with.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I let's get your thoughts on it. I maybe we're completely crazy. I don't know. You guys tell me. NY Monty fan first one, he says, good morning, fellas. The road to 9,000 starts with one click.
Let's go.
Click that like button.
We've had a big week for subs.
Yeah, it is pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable how much growth we've seen just from you guys supporting us by hitting the like button. We're at 8,528 subs on this channel. And I can tell you the last 2 days have been two of the biggest viewership days on our channel, and we super appreciate that. We are looking at a number, and again, we're trying to get to 9,000 subs by the end of this month.
Yeah, so basically like 2 weeks to go. We've got about 500, a little bit less than 500 to go here.
472, I think it is, right? If you take
8528.
8528, yeah, 472.
Okay.
And we have 16 days left in the month. That's 29.
So we're now under 30 a day.
We're now under 30 a day.
They're chopping it down.
Sorry, I'm being distracted by basketball texts, but
no, it's fine. Like, but the point is when you guys hit the like button, we're not just asking just for the sake of having a bunch of likes on the video. Like when you hit the like button, it puts our channel into the YouTube algorithm more people see us, more people subscribe. When people find our show, they watch our show and they stay. So for us, all we need you to do is hit the like button, and now we're on the trek to 9,000. So it wasn't too long a time ago, like last week, where we needed like 35 a day. So we've been making big time progress because you guys have been doing that. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think again, if we get to 9,000 by the end of the month, we're going to take you plus one to a Jazz game. Lower bowl seats, because if you know me at all, I don't sit upstairs ever.
I've been a rich man and I have been a poor man.
And I'll take rich every time. Anyway, the point is, the Wolf of Wall Street's undefeated. The point is, we'll take you +1 to a Jazz game. We'll pull one subscriber. We'll take you +1 in a black card to a Jazz game. We'll buy you a custom jersey. Again, I would tell you, select a sweatshirt.
Are we clear on that?
As we're going to talk about in a few minutes, the Jazz are going to make trades. And we'll watch Donnie and the Cavs. Anybody see Donnie and the Cavs last night?
Hey, didn't you say that Donnie would be putting up 30 a night this year? Didn't you?
He is at 29.8 points.
Yeah.
29.8 points, Donovan Mitchell. Last night, I think he finished with 34. He had 27 in the first half last night. Donovan Mitchell balling out. He'll be here. You'll watch him. So make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. Ben Sainsbury, good morning from China. Love the show. Thank you for keeping us sane. Wow. Look
sick.
at us getting to China. Appreciate you, Ben. Thanks. Welcome to the show. Maury says, so true. MY Monty fan. Morning, boys. Working earlier today, so be catching the show later. Appreciate you, Maury. Have a good day. Lord Radon, always good. Said, so when do we get to see the press conference of the Pac-12 commissioner crying? It's funny.
Dude, I'd love to see him walk out on stage with an envelope and a pencil and do some calculations. That would be
on the
hilarious.
back of an envelope?
Yeah, that'd be hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's just interesting to me that when you look at some of the numbers, like looking at TV numbers on the side here as we were talking about it, the most viewed TV games, essentially of the West Coast, USC and Notre Dame, 6.68.
Now, okay, we'll write that one game off because it's USC and Notre Dame. Like, that's every year, specialty game.
That's every day.
Okay, cool. So, okay, what about, what else is there?
You have Oregon and Georgia on ABC at 6.2 million.
Okay, that was the game that Oregon got absolutely boat raced.
They did.
We remember
they
that.
got crushed,
that
right?
was an ass kicking out of the SC, and Georgia, flexed on them, and all of a sudden, everyone said, oh, well, the Pac-12 season is over, and life is terrible.
Yeah,
we remember that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you look at some of these other games here, right? And you quickly start to realize that look at who's involved in these games. You look at Oregon and Georgia, huge programs, right? You look at Utah, USC, Pac-12 championship game.
So again,
just short of 6 million.
On the first three games, we've got SC twice and Oregon once.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The fourth game, USC and UCLA.
Wow, see, a trend is emerging here.
Washington State, and this is why I said about Pullman, right? Washington State. The fourth largest viewership on Fox, Washington State, Wisco, 3.9. UW, Oregon, 3.6. Oregon State, 3.5. UCLA, Oregon. Again, you look at that, Oregon State, right? UCLA, Oregon, UCLA, Cal. Okay, there's UCLA, Cal on its own.
And that's UCLA flexing.
3.27 million.
Because Cal is garbage. So that's primarily a UCLA.
USC, Stanford, 2.96. And we just said nobody watches Stanford football.
Right.
Look at the games where USC is in here. USC littered, Oregon littered. Like these big programs, you guys, that's who's turning out viewers to the TV.
And that's what I'm saying. Like UCLA leaving is just the tipping point. Like the loss of Oregon in the Pac-10 will be the end of them because that's going to happen. You don't do what they did on that graphic for viewership and stay in a conference at 20 to 30 million a year. You don't do that.
I don't know, man. I look at some of these numbers and it's baffling to me. That you see all of these programs in common.
Don't we have in the program here? Don't we have a screenshot from the other day that says like Oregon has like 70 million views for the season? Or
something like that.
It's like some ridiculous number, and that's why I say like Oregon gets views, SC gets views. Like come on,
right there. This is as you head into the bowl games. Here's a look at the top 10 college football programs with the most TV views, and here's the issue. We just read you all of those huge numbers. Look at Ohio State. It's 70 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Michigan. It's 70 million views.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why those two are in the college football playoff? Look at Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Notre Dame, Penn State, TCU, Texas, Clemson.
Yeah.
Like those are all huge programs.
Yeah.
And then you look at these numbers and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe those aren't so great. You know, like it's mind-numbing to me that when you read things like Brett Yormark talking about this is what he's talking about expansion. Brett Yormark, commissioner of the Pac-12, or Big 12, excuse me. That fourth time zone, he's talking about the West Coast, a program that has national recognition, one that competes at the highest level of basketball and football, stands for the right things, is a good cultural fit. Because our alignment right now and like-mindedness of all of our member institutions is fantastic. Right? Like, he just gets it. And you can't tell me, even there, he's saying football and basketball. You can't tell me if Gonzaga said, yeah, where do I sign? That Brett Yormark's not sending a contract over.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it makes
Gonzaga.
These moves generally at the end of the day, and I know we all get a lot of heartburn. At the end of the day, generally what makes sense is generally what happens.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
And it is. And when you look at Oregon and Washington, and you look at the thing that makes the most sense to me, the Arizona schools, Utah and Colorado to the Big 12. That makes sense.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, if you are the Pac-10.
You mean the Pac-5?
If you're the Pac-3, you're dead in the water right now.
With all due respect.
You're dead. I would be stunned if they got $30 million per school per year out of a TV deal.
Yeah.
I would be stunned by it. All right, let's get more of your comments in here. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for all the comments. Mark Hales, good morning to you, sir, says, so the Pac-10 is so bad UCLA is willing to pay $10 million a year to leave. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's correct. Keaton Critchlow, what's up, my guys? Zesties Retro in Game says, hey, guys, time for the Pac-12 to implode.
Hey, guys.
Hit the panic button.
Hey, guys.
Sean Mirzinski, what's up? Do you see other teams leaving the Pac-12? I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because if the biggest issue here is, again, and not to get two X's and O's, how do TV deals get done? The conference is going to go to the distribution partner, Amazon, ESPN. They're going to make a deal. Then the conference is going to go to the individual institutions and say, sign the grant of rights, because the deal is between the conference and the TV distributor.
Yeah.
The individual members, the schools in the conference, sign a grant of rights to the conference to go and then give to the distributor.
Which I have to say, just on a surface level, is dumb, in my opinion. That setup has always been boggling to me. Why would you not just have a place where schools are just handling their own, you know what I mean? Like, handling their own distribution.
I don't know that that'll ever happen, because you're more valuable. Your bottom end gets more value as a group. Like, think about the Big Ten. Does Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, Purdue, Rutgers, Maryland,
no,
do any of them have value to a TV partner?
Nope.
They don't. But as a group with Ohio State, Michigan, Wisco, like the big brands, USC, UCLA in the Big Ten, as a collective, they bring the bottom up. That's why you have major conference deals like that. Lord Radon says, not believing they will be getting close to 70, 75 million. They will be getting at least that. Yeah, I would agree with that, because there is, in the Big 12, you don't have third-tier rights anymore, right? In the Big 10, you have the Big 10 network, and you have all kinds of different distribution deals. You have branding. You have, partnerships. Like, your total bottom line goes way up when you join the Big Ten like UCLA did, because it's not just the TV money. You're able to make more money in partnerships and sellable features, and that's where your money comes in. Travis Bird, Big Daddy Magic, what's up with you? Jesse Harsh, Tim Bruckmiller, good to see you. Mirzinski says, I honestly don't know how long the Pac-12 can last. I mean, sure, having Dion will help, but they're losing two of the more money-generating schools on the conference.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And by the way, there are advertisers that just buy the Pac-12 because of Los Angeles. There are, like the agency game, there are things called advertising agencies who are like, hey, we need to hit viewers in Los Angeles with our widget commercial. Go buy Pac-12 football. That happens.
I'm going to do that.
That money's gone now. That money's going to the Big Ten now.
Yep.
It's over. Zesties says Oregon and Washington waving goodbye. We'll see. Luis Capazzo says we're seeing the slow, painful death of the Pac. We really are.
That's correct.
Brent Terry disagrees. He says the Pac-12 will be fine. They'll have the pride and arrogance to rely on. Absolutely.
My guy.
Absolutely.
Well done.
No doubt about that. Tim Bruckmiller says, since this is Big 12 country, he says this is also Big 12 country correct. The show is also big. Nah, I don't know about that. We talk a lot of Big 12 because of BYU.
We talk about what's relevant.
I'm a huge fan of the Pac-12 from a sports perspective. Like, I am a passionate fan of Pac-12 football.
Yeah.
I hate the conference. I hate the leadership.
Yeah.
But I would say that I think it's pretty split. I think we try to be down the middle. I heard an AD, Mark Rhodes at Baylor, say the estimate release date for the 2023 Big 12 football schedule is December 15th. That's today. It was supposed to happen Monday. Then it was supposed to happen today or tomorrow.
Yeah, red tape, blue tape, yellow tape.
It is a big freaking deal to get this schedule released. I think it's going to be a big story. It's going to be a big story. Neville93 says, kind of late. Good morning, guys. Let's get it popping. Amen to that. Who else we got in here? San Diego State, good morning to you. He says, oh, good morning, folks. Good morning. Cam Harrison says Pac-10 stickers, LOL.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pac-10 country.
This is Pac-10 country.
Remember the billboard?
The conference of everybody leaves.
So funny. Mark Hale says, no offense, Utah fans, but if the Utes are the marquee team in the conference, that conference is in trouble on a national stage.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Tim says, Cal and Stanford aren't interested in offering big on NIL to players. And Colorado, Washington State, and Beavertown can't afford NIL.
It's not true. I think that
can't afford or won't afford.
I think they definitely have the money. They're just not. They don't want to do that. That's the difference. They don't want to. They don't embrace it. Another issue with the PAC.
Could be an issue at Utah.
Yeah. Oh, it is an issue at Utah. I don't think that Kyle Whittingham wants to do it. He's more interested in blaming, not having resources.
David Glover says, I know UCLA beat us this year, but just keeping them alone wasn't going to save the PAC. Totally agree. We needed USC to stay in to save it. Utah needed to leave for the Big 12 ASAP if they even want us. They do.
But go a step deeper. I mean, I think that keeping these teams, give them a reason to stay. Like,
yeah, what are you hanging on to?
What are you hanging on to? What is the point of again? For major brands, like there's this awakening happening where major brands are starting to understand, hey, we have power because people watch our games. So if we have the power to say to Kevin Warren in the Big Ten, hey, we want to be in the Big Ten because we're USC and we have Caleb Williams, the Heisman winner, who likely would have played for a national championship if X, Y, and Z hadn't gotten hurt. We have all these great things happening. You need the LA market. Let's put this together. And by the way, yeah, we're SC and we want to rake in some $70 million a year cash flow. That's what we want. So, again, that's why I've always had trouble with George Kliavkoff, because he's not really giving these schools a reason to stay.
Look at David Glover, dude. Kliavkoff-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, dude.
We'll say, let's add Bishop Gorman in modern day and we'll be fine, as he writes it down on a McDonald's napkin.
Come on, man.
But isn't that true, though, David? Like,
come on.
How dumb are you to be like, wow, I did some back-of-the-envelope calculations. And all of it was a complete joke.
Yeah.
Like, it meant nothing. I don't know it to be. I don't know it to be fact, but my opinion is that George Kliavkoff lied, and he's a liar, and I think he's a spinster. And I will again say he has been no better for this conference than Larry Scott was.
Shame.
Truth. He's been no better for this conference than Larry Scott was. I just don't. I don't see it. That's just my opinion. That's just me, though. Kenai Johnson, what's up, KJ? Top of the morning, fellas.
Top of the morning.
Appreciate you being here. San Diego State says more iPads will be sold if Amazon does a deal with the PAC. That could be true.
Well,
I'm a huge iPad Pro fan.
Are you?
I am. If I didn't have like 37 MacBook Pros, I'd be an iPad Pro fan. Although Mrs. Monty Darkwing Duck has a Microsoft Slate.
Yeah.
And I actually really like it. She's kind of converted me over to that unit.
What are you talking about? What are you doing?
It's really functional. You know what I like about it? It's a keyboard and a touchscreen, and it moves. I like that. The one complaint I have about iPads is that stupid keyboard sucks. It's not a real keyboard. Kanai says, hell yeah, the Monty Show is blowing it up. Let's go. Appreciate that very much.
What's our like count right now? Where are we at?
All right, our like count is at 55.
55. Let's go.
55.
Well done.
Yeah, we're just over 500 views. Got 172 people watching the show right now. So if 172 of you who have not yet, anybody who has not yet hit the like button,
please
bang that like button. Help us get to 200 on the show today.
The only reason we're asking you to do that is because if we get to 9,000 subs by the end of the year, we will make the revenue to give away Jazz tickets.
Yeah, so let's rock and roll. By the way, all of our college football talk on this show is presented by our friends at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Make sure you check out any of their 5 Utah locations. And Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, and our good friends in Salt Lake City / Murray right there on State Street. Across the did you see the new building at what they're building at the mall?
What did we know what it is?
It's a Via 313 that took up an entire parking lot.
You fucking donkey.
Come on,
you took up
bro.
That mall, the mall in Murray,
Dude.
what is it, Fashion Place?
God.
The mall in Murray, the parking lot's a
State
disaster.
Street and the 215.
It's a disaster. So let's take more of the parking lot away for a pizza
God.
joint. Anyway, our good friends at Barbecue Pit Stop present all of our college football talk. And again, it's gift giving season, guys. You can shop online at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. We did it again yesterday. Now, we have worked hard.
This was incredible.
We have worked hard on this show, and I think you guys know that we espouse about the greatness of Asado seasoning.
Flavor Knuckles.
Right?
Asado seasoning.
Flavor Knuckles, Asado seasoning.
Right.
We tell you about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
You see it right there. Yesterday, we made ground chicken whole wheat pasta, and it was amazing.
God bless.
Amazing. Because we pan-fried the ground chicken, and we seasoned it with Flavor Knuckles Asado seasoning.
Absolutely phenomenal.
That you get at Barbecue Pit Stop, bbqpitstop.com. Order it online. Put it in everybody's stocking. If you order 10 Asado seasonings online right now, put them in everybody's stocking. You know already that when you go to Barbecue Pit Stop, it's the best equipment. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Traeger, Big Green Egg, Yoder, any pizza oven, you name it. The people that you deal with at Barbecue Pit Stop, those are the amazing dudes. That's why you go there. Again, Logan has the best meat counter that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
All of their stores now, Logan, Layton, Lehigh, St. George, St. Jeezy. And Murray all have meat counters now. Like, it's remarkable. They can teach you how to butcher it. They can teach you how to season it.
Yep.
They'll show you how to use the Traeger pellet smoker.
I'm a man.
They'll tell you, well, hey, you're making a brisket for New Year's? All right, cool, man. You're going to watch the Rose Bowl with that brisket. Okay, cool. Here's what you do, XYZ. Hey, use the pecan. Better yet, use the competition mix for the brisket. I mean, you're getting, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're great gift givers, too. At bbqpitstop.com. Chat with them online right now. Make sure you tell them, all of them, that you heard about Barbecue Pit Stop on the Monty Show. Kurt Meyer says, morning all, plowing snow.
Oh, do you plow? That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Dude, the people who drive plows, thank you, because we drive to work every day at around 4:30, and there's just plows out on the road like every day this week, it seems like. I know that's not easy. Jordan Wheeler says, what's up, playa haters? What's up, man? Good to see you. Roris, Roris.
Dude.
Dude. UCLA having to pay an alimony to Cal. That's exactly right. It's alimony. To Cal because Cal chose to neglect their football program is ridiculous. If Cal had their stuff together, their football program would be self-sufficient. Well, the problem is they did a massive renovation at Memorial Stadium on the campus at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And nobody goes to
Here's the deal. It's not about Cal.
Here's the deal.
Can we be really clear on this? It's not about Cal. It's about the Board of Regents wanting their pound of flesh to allow you to go and do what you want to do.
It's punishment because you didn't ask their permission.
Yeah.
And UCLA and USC, frankly, UCLA really, because it's a public institution, didn't tell anybody what they were doing. They just went and signed an agreement to join the Big Ten.
Remember where all this started, right? It was Carol Faust, right?
Yes,
right?
the president at USC.
Right? This all started because she lied and then went behind everyone's back and went to the Big Ten.
There was a meeting, 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
That was an emergency meeting where all the Pac-12 brain trusts, they got together on a call and we're talking about expanding the Pac-12. The president at USC said, no, we're not doing that. I'm not interested. We're fine where we are.
This is a code 10 abort.
That's where the expansion talk ended. She pretty much hung up the phone and then, like, she had the contract on her desk. No, I'm not interested in expanding the Pac-12. Thanks. Click. All right, where do I sign that? Right there. Okay.
How about that?
That's essentially what happened. She killed expansion in the Pac-12, signed the deal with the Big Ten, and now the Big Ten is on death's doorstep.
I really don't care if you think it's sus.
The Pac-10.
The Pac-10 is on death's doorstep.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you have, like it was all Larry Scott's fault. Yeah, it was mostly, but not really. USC killed Pac-12, now Pac-10 expansion.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Just remarkable. Cody Strickland says, I forgot to hit the like button. Got it done. Thank you.
Let's go.
Arlington Bears says, I'm still in bed this morning and just bang the button.
Let's go, dude. I'm
sorry.
Chris
You mean
Karn
the
right
like
now.
when you say you bang the button?
Yeah, is that a euphemism or?
I mean, it could be. It could be. Mick Stevens says, go Frogs. What's up, Mick? Good to see you. Red Wine 65, Washington, Oregon, Stanford, Notre Dame should join the big 5-team West Pod that rotates with other 3. Then the PAC and the Big 12 should merge. I still maintain. And again, we told you, Football 50 in 2 minutes, by the way, we told you months ago that ESPN was trying to broker a merger with the Big 12 and the Pac-12. And
excellent strategy.
Neither one of them would get together because, frankly, if you're ESPN and Fox, that's what's best for you.
Yeah.
Never happened. 4 20-team conferences, 2 divisions each, 4 champs in the playoff.
Yep. Totally agree. Again, it makes perfect sense. But again, the problem is people's pride, right? Like George Kliavkoff is just a poster child for pride. There's all these people behind the scene that think that the Pac-12 is somehow some juggernaut of a conference. And on the football field, yeah, you may have had 6 teams in the AP top 25, but on the P&L statement, you had no teams on the top 25.
Truth.
So,
Truth.